Welcome everyone to another video today. My name is Nicholas or Nick Greer. It doesn't matter to me, so let's jump into it. And today I will be talking about the Image Comics character Firebreather. He made his first appearance in Firebreather issue 1 in 2003. He was created by Phil Hester and Andy Kunn. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his last name correctly. Duncan Rosenblatt is the son of a fire-breathing dragon that's 120 inches tall and is the king of the kaiju. Before Duncan was born, his father, Belloc, was causing mayhem in New York until he meets a helpless woman named Margaret. Margaret somehow was attracted to the dragon, and this is where their love story began. When Duncan was born, the two were divorced, and Margaret takes her son elsewhere. There isn't any clear detail on why they divorced. As Margaret raised her son for the next 15 years, life became difficult for Duncan and his mom. They had to consistently move due to Duncan's unusual circumstances. Although they're separated, Belloc kept persuading his son into joining him so that one day his son would take over his throne. Trying to further distance themselves away from Belloc, they were assigned a government handler named Colonel Barnes, who pretty much makes sure that both parents come to an agreement. When Duncan was at his new school, his mother was attacked and kidnapped, and this is where his powers manifested. Flying into action, Duncan successfully tracks down his mother with his enhanced senses. His mother was captured by a kaiju that originates from his father's realm, who he kept alive when they first encountered. Filled with rage, he attacks the kaiju, and although he could have finished the job, he held back. As everything went down, Belloc was actually spectating the fight the whole time. Since his son didn't finish the job, he instantly kills the kaiju and flies off. Sooner or later, Duncan visits his father and believes that his father was responsible in releasing the kaiju in order to snatch up his mother. Believing that was one of his tests, he stated that he would kill him if he ever tries something like that again. As Duncan heads off, Belloc smiles. As weeks flew by, Duncan and his classmates were out on a school field trip to a museum. This is where they learned about a suit of armor called the Iron Saint that was powerful enough to destroy Belloc. When the curator was finished explaining the suit's origin, it was time for the students to go home. With the students partying instead of getting prepared for the next day, Duncan and his friend Dre, not to be confused with Dr. Dre, snuck into the museum. As soon as they walked in, the curator, who told them about the armor, was unfortunately slaughtered. Taking the time to examine the body, out of curiosity, Dre touches the armor and was engulfed. No time to think, Duncan had to battle the armor and find a way in releasing Dre. Using his full power of his fiery breath, he successfully released Dre. However, the armor reformed itself as Mr. Martinez, their Spanish teacher, who took his class to the museum. Martinez wants to get revenge on Duncan for tampering with the armor. With the two battled, Duncan realized that innocent lives were at stake, so he sacrificed himself. However, the armor was used to save human lives, so the armor self-destructs since Duncan is half human. After this, Mr. Martinez was sent to custody. On Duncan's 16th birthday, a robot designed by his father attacks, but was defeated. Although the robot is defeated, the robot did cause a lot of damage, which led to Margaret in paying for the damage. Confronting Belloc once again, Duncan stole a small gold fragment that was enough to pay for the large amount of property damage. Dealing with more shenanigans from Belloc, Duncan managed to meet his father's astral form while he was at school. Once Belloc persuades Duncan to follow him in order to meet his true form, he tells his son about aliens along the way. Duncan approaches his father's true body. A robotic assassin has stabbed him with a spear that's lodged into his chest. This spear prevents him from dying, so he wanted Duncan to remove it and kill the assassin since it is the only way to permanently put it down. Refusing to remove the spear, the robotic assassin kept attacking Duncan, and there was no other way to put it down. Taking the spear out of his chest, Duncan eliminates the robot. Afterwards, Duncan burned his father's body, and don't worry, he wanted his son to burn his body in the first place. Duncan is last seen as a new master of a pyramid-like temple. Now let's move on to his powers and abilities. Flight, Firebreather. He has a golden battle armor that covers up his shoulder blades and a golden chest plate, and he does have bracers covering up his forearms.